All right, welcome back to school. This is the first day of notes for college algebra. We are starting the prerequisite chapter, which should be a lot of review material, but also a few things that maybe we didn't all get to last year. We are starting section 1 of that prerequisite chapter today. We will touch on the main topics in that section, but not every single detail. So if you are looking at the homework assignment and you're running into some questions, make sure you go back. It's on pages 2 through 16, and just see if you can find something similar in the reading material that would help you out. All right, in your notes packet, the first directions probably say to solve. You should change that to evaluate. That's truly what we are doing. We do not have an equation, so we aren't solving anything. We are just evaluating this for when x equals 9. So our first step is to simply replace all of our x's with a 9. All right, then we need to make sure that we're following order of operations, and that says to do parentheses first. So we're going to take 9 minus 3 and convert that to a 6. Then we will tackle exponents next, but since we don't have any exponents, we move on to multiplying and dividing. We do those in order. Notice that we do have the fraction bar, which means division. However, we need to simplify everything on top and in the denominator before we can actually do that division. So we are going to simplify the 7 times 6 to be 42. We're going to simplify the 2 times 9 to be 18. And then we do need to subtract 18 minus 16 to simplify that denominator. And then we can do our actual division and get to 21 for an answer. All right, our second example says to simplify. So we're going to look at that and see simplifying is used for a lot of things. What might they be asking us to do here? And the first thing I notice is that there is a minus sign here in front of those brackets. Brackets is just another type of parenthesis. So our first step would be to distribute. All right, so I'm going to rewrite the 14x squared plus the 5, and then I'm going to distribute that negative to all three pieces in the parentheses. So we're going to have a negative 7x squared, a negative times a negative 14 becomes positive 14, and then a negative times the 4 becomes a negative 4. So we've distributed that all, and now we look for any like terms that we could combine. Notice that there are a couple places that have an x squared, so we are going to put that together to give us 7x squared. And the other three pieces all are just constants, so we can add a 5, a 14, and a minus 4 to give us a total of 15. All right. If you go back and look at the original question, there is another option. We could have looked at this portion right here and said that's all in parentheses, and I can do that first. I can simplify the negative 14 and the positive 4 to just be a negative 10, and then I could have distributed the negative to each piece. Either way will get you to the same answer. In our third example, I'm going to have you add. It's not in your notes packet, but it's the type of question that a lot of students get incorrect. All right, so it's 6 to the second power, or 6 squared, divided by 2 times 3 plus 4. I want you to pause the video for a minute and just try this and see what kind of answer you get. All right, hopefully you've all tried it. Our first step is to look through and follow order of operations, which says to do parentheses first. However, this 3 here that you see in parentheses, there's nothing to do. It's just a plain 3. It's really in there to indicate multiplication. So we could write it like this. Okay, that's equivalent. Then I go through and say I have an exponent that's square. So I have to take 6 squared. That gives me 36. And then I go through and remember that multiplication and division are done from left to right. So following that rule, this right here is going to give me 18 times 3 plus 4. And 18 times 3 is 54. And then if I add the 4, I end up with 58. The most common mistake is that students see this right here and convert it to a 6 right away. And then they end up with the 36 divided by a 6, which is going to get you to an incorrect answer. So be sure that you are doing multiplication and division left to right, And that's the same with adding and subtracting left to right. All right, so for our first day's assignment here, you should be trying this without any calculators. It starts on page 17. You're going to do 1 through 19 odds, 43 to 49 odds, and 85 to 101 odds. Make sure that you show your work, even though this is easy material because it's getting you into the practice of what you'll be required to do this year. Good luck.